Hello and welcome to TXM TV. I'm Anthony Clyne and today I'm joined by Rob Chittenden. Hi Rob, how are you?
Yes, good afternoon, Anthony, and hello, everybody.
And Rob, you're going to tell us about standard work. How does standard work work?
Yeah, well, great question, Anthony. I often get this asked a lot. What is standard work and how do we do standard work? How do we create that baseline? So today I thought I'd explain what standard work is. It's a big topic to talk about, and there are many definitions and tools to use in this segment. So how do we do standard work? Standard work's actually part of a sequence of standards to bring together, and they cascade and fit together very nicely if you do all these steps well. The first one is standard work. The next one is job instructions. And finally, we get to work instructions. Now, they all sound the same thing, but let's go through each one of them and try and understand the detail that each one's, because they all do a specific task that's important in building up the overall knowledge of a job. So let's go to standard work. Standard work, I like to explain as the big picture. It's the one where we point out the overall task, the major steps of a process or service you're trying to deliver to your customers. It'll point out the critical times. It may involve a layout of how things flow, particularly materials around a cell or a job site. It may also include the standard work in progress. Where does inventory sit and how much should there be there? And often in this, we're taking those mechanical steps and putting them into a flow, or a dance chart combination, just that high level view. We may be using our combination chart if you know some of the lean templates to use. Our capacity charts are very handy here. We also will be getting down to some basic Yamazui charts, which are a bar chart of how tasks work. And they're very critical if we've got a multi-operator task. And this standard work would form the basis of how we audit a task. When I want to go see how a task is done, we go look at the standard work first. Following on from that, we then try and look at our job instruction. Now, this is where we start forming up a little bit more of the detail. It's our job breakdown area. This is where we're trying to list out the key points. We would be putting down the how, why, and what are the steps that we need to have in each of those tasks. So explain why we're doing a task. And this is very important for training. We may have introduced some photos here and a few of those critical safety tips that we need to put a task together. So after job instruction, we finally get down to the work instruction. This is something we use every day. It's the detailed steps. A lot of sites would have standard operating procedures. This would be where that level sits. It has the sequence notes, it has the quality checkpoints, and it has probably a lot of pictures these days because pictures are so easy to do. And it's our baseline tool. It's one of the documents that we would go to when we had a quality error or a mistake occur. What is the variation from the work instruction? And that's where I'd like to point people at. Have this document because it makes fault finding very easy to do. So they're the three levels. And I hope that's a quick introduction to how standard work is done. There's obviously a lot more to find on our website about how we do standard work. So please go there and have a look or drop us a line or a call. So Anthony, what would you like to add to standard work?
Well, Rob, I really like the use of the term or phrase dance chart. And it's like standard work is learning to dance. And you first learn the mechanical steps, and then you learn the timing and the rhythm. And that's when you really are a expert at the job, is when you can dance to the job. And I also liked the job instruction, and and specifically there's the what, how, and the why. And the tip I was taught is to don't overdo the why. And the reason for that is the why is there to influence an adult to perform the task as instructed and not take a shortcut. And if the why column is always full and has a whole lot of detail, the people are not going to read it and appreciate that really one critical why that's explaining this is why you do that job. And as adults, we have a natural affinity to change at work and not obey instructions. We like to do experiments. We like to find better ways of working. And the why helps us understand the importance and recognises the learning that's gone on before to describe this is why you do it that way. And it's such an important thing. And we, in lean thinking, we do like to encourage active experimentation. And so these are then done in a controlled environment where the current standard is the baseline. And then you can easily do an experiment to check your theory of how I'm thinking a better way. Let's try it. Let's think of the risks, try it. If it works or it doesn't work, we make that the new standard. We look for problems, we fix them, and then that's the new standard. And we've effectively refined the dance. And then we can dance differently, we dance better, and we dance in our own style, and we dance better than our competition. So that's the why is important, Rob. If I was going to build on one thing, that's what it would be. What other dimensions? There's so many dimensions of standard work. What else could we have built on?
Well, it's all about trying to document the one way. What is the best one way we have? And, you know, if we go look at a process standard, they're fairly prescriptive. This is the way you do these things or how you mix things together in certain ratios. And this is what we can apply to all tasks, but it can be quite complex and can be quite large. So another good tip is to break it down. We're not trying to write down all these dance moves in one session. We've got to break it down into small elements. Get the intro right, then do the middle bit right, and then finally work on our finale part so that we've got it all coming together in sequence of smaller chunks. And that's a nice way of approaching the level of detail that you want to have for your processes. Yeah. And what's one of your tips, Anthony?
Not only do you keep the whys a bit vacant, but you don't have to do the job instruction for all of the standard worksheets. It's probably only 15% of all of the standard tasks need that level of reminder as to how you do it and why you do it that way.
So there's a fair bit there to look at.
There is a lot to look at. It's a big topic. And I'd like to thank you, Rob. And thank you for watching this episode of TXM TV. Remember to comment on our LinkedIn page, and we hope to see you again next time.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.